It was not a easy year this past year with the pandemic, but how are things at Lewis, and how are you doing so far this semester?
Obviously, with COVID going around, it's a lot different. Not just at Lewis, but every college. It's not a true college experience that all freshmen are getting to endure. But you got to make the most of it. Lacrosse has definitely helped too. It really makes a steady schedule. Um, and it's just been day by day, really. Practice schedules may change, especially now with snow and cold weather. But you kind of got to go day by day and just see what's next.
What's been like the mindset for you going into this semester, getting ready for uh, hopefully a season if it happens? What's been in the mindset for you?
I mean, after the fall, especially with our class missing our senior season, I didn't exactly know where I was at on the field. So I really just kind of had to wake up every day and just, tell myself I'm gonna have a good practice. And just staying positive in this very negative time. Just trying to make the most out of every practice, every rep, and getting better every day.
Talk about being from Minnesota, playing for Team 36, and your whole experience getting to where you are now.
Um, so I actually in Minnesota, obviously, when you box in Minnesota Swarm, now in Georgia, I grew up playing box, and I actually started as a face-off in box, and then I moved to field, actually after playing baseball, and I was, all around face-off, offense, defense, and one of my teams actually in the spring of my U13 year. So I would say about seventh grade. They needed a goalie, and the head coach was actually one of my best friend's dads, and then my dad was the assistant coach, and I was just kind of like, all right, fine, I'll step in net. It was kind of a spring, just like an off season team. So I decided to hop in net, and then I just kind of picked it up really quick, and ended up actually being pretty good at it. And from there, um, eighth grade year, I was asked to play for my high school. And I ended up so my high school had a B squad, a JV, and a varsity. I made JV, and I ended up playing on JV and B squad because there was only four goalies, two on varsity, two JV, and then the JV guys split B squad. And the backup for varsity ended up quitting and decided to play D mid. So now I actually got to play my eighth grade year. I got to play varsity, JV, and B squad. And then ever since I was a backup on varsity until my junior year, which was my first starting year. We did really well that season. Got a lot of experience, actually, a lot of shots with kind of a younger defense. So, there was some shots. We tend to get a lot of outside shots, but a lot of experience my junior year. And then going into my senior year, I played hockey, and I actually ended up quitting midway through my senior season to focus on lacrosse. And then that was kind of taken away from me because of COVID. So that really just brought a lot of I had to find other things to do to keep my stick up because I knew I wanted to go somewhere with lacrosse. And ever since I was young, I was always going to Team 36 training. And that actually ended up becoming a club lacrosse team with the Coach Ted. And I had to occupy a lot of my time with reps that were non-realistic, hitting the wall, going into Ted's, taking some shots whenever I could. But without that senior season, it was really unknown where I was at. So going into Lewis, that it worried me because I didn't exactly know. All the guys in college, all the sophomores, juniors, seniors, they all had a season prior to that in college. So I didn't really know where I was at. And it really opened my eyes for my play style too.
What do you think of being a goalie at the collegiate level now, coming from Minnesota? What's that mean for you, and just playing in the college lacrosse now from where you were, and now you're going to play college lacrosse as a goalie? And who are some of the goalies that you take after or look up to from the other, like the pro level or the college level?
Um, Honestly, I kind of feel like I have my own play style. Um, a lot of people would say I move my body in a lot of weird positions to save the ball, where it tends, goalies learning, they tend to stay, strict stance. Um, and I am all for a strict stance, which is definitely like coming from Minnesota now to a collegiate level. Um, it's definitely I definitely had to have a more strict stance. My goalie coach here, he wants me to make sure I'm staying still and everything. But I kind of feel like my play style is a little different from a lot of other goalies.
And what would you say is like the biggest misconception about kids coming from Minnesota and lacrosse from the viewpoint from people from the outside looking at Minnesota lacrosse?
I feel like Midwest lacrosse, and including Minnesota, of course, it's a little more physical. You see East Coast teams, they're a lot of stick work. They're really fancy. Um, but I feel like the Midwest is really focused on, being physical and playing your own game. Not stepping out of your own comfort zone, but growing with what you know.
That's a good point. Yeah, I like that, and I definitely see a lot of passion and love for the game from the people that like yourself coming from Minnesota to play at the university level. And we're here with Riah Rathe. Is that how you pronounce your last name, or it's Rath?
Riah Rathe.
Riah Rathe. Okay. And Riot, just to finish up here, what do you do for fun there besides playing lacrosse at Lewis? And what are your goals going into the season, if there is a season?
I most certainly, want to get some playing time, and with Lewis only being a second year program, it's really about building a strong legacy and a strong foundation. That's really, what I want to be a part of. That's kind of how I grew up in high school with a newer program in high school, even, building a legacy and growing a stronger foundation for those incoming kids. And that's kind of why I picked this. So kind of why I picked Lewis was because, I have that chance to do that all over again. If I made a mistake in high school, I have that chance to fix that now.
And what do you do for fun besides play lacrosse there?
Well,
Anything unusual about Riah Rathe?
at the moment, nothing really, because there's not a whole lot to do with COVID. But I mean, we make the most of what we have. We'll go over to the cafe because there's a pool table. We'll play pool sometimes. A couple of guys. Um, we'll run. We'll play wall ball. But there's really nothing else to do besides that in this time.
Well, Riah, I really appreciate you coming on here with us to talk about Minnesota lacrosse, because we really know that it's a growing hotbed and people should take notice of great kids that come out of that area, such as yourself. And Team 36 is doing a heck of a job producing some great athletes. So thanks again for coming on. Best of luck to you this upcoming season. Knock on wood that we have a season. And thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, you too.